On March 29, 2016, a young woman, believed to be the daughter of a resident at 10400 East 27th Street, Independence, Missouri, USA, made a frantic 911 call. During that call, she spoke with a mixture of sobs and trembling, struggling to form coherent words. She reported that her mother had been attacked and was lying unresponsive in the bathroom. She also told the police that she suspected her mother was already dead. Officers immediately responded to the address provided by the caller. Upon arriving at the scene, they found an elderly woman lying lifeless in a bathtub in the bathroom. The floor was covered in blood. Based on the initial scene examination and forensic analysis, the victim's body displayed 98 stab wounds, as well as a severed throat, a gruesome scene. Who was the victim? Who was the young woman who called for help? Why was the victim murdered in such a brutal manner? We invite you to delve deeper into this case with us in this video. We'll uncover the details and shed light on these questions. You're watching Vane True Crime Cases? If you enjoy our approach to case analysis, leave a comment with the number 1. If not, simply like the video. Before we delve into the case today, the Vane True Crime Cases team extends our heartfelt gratitude for your presence. Please support our channel by subscribing, giving us a boost of motivation to bring you even more compelling crime stories. Now let's dive into the main content of today's case. The caller, identified as Miranda, was interviewed by the police at the scene. Miranda stated that the victim was her mother, Louise Dickey, who was 63 years old. On that day, March 29th, a close neighbor of Louise called Miranda, mentioning that Louise's car was no longer parked in her driveway. The neighbor asked Miranda if Louise had gone out somewhere. Miranda replied that she was unaware of any plans her mother had, and was certain that Louise hadn't left the house. Miranda explained that Louise, after a serious car accident, had suffered severe injuries, making it difficult for her to travel far or lift heavy objects. This was highly unusual. Why would Louise's car be missing if she hadn't gone anywhere? Miranda immediately called her mother, but her calls went unanswered. Feeling increasingly uneasy, Miranda rushed to her mother's house. She entered the house and called out for her mother, but the house was eerily quiet. While searching for Louise, Miranda found her mother's purse on the sofa, but it was completely empty. The cash was gone. Miranda searched the house, hoping her mother had simply fallen, but couldn't find her. When she reached the bathroom, she noticed the door was shut. Louise never closed her bathroom door. Miranda approached the door and smelled a pungent odor, like blood. She opened the door and was met with the horrifying scene, leading her to immediately call 911. Detective Bryce Minter questioned Miranda again about Louise's purse. She reiterated that the purse was unusual. It was always with her mother. The cash was gone and the paperwork and bank cards were missing as well. Miranda also mentioned that Louise's mobile phone couldn't be found despite her thorough search. The police immediately brought Miranda to the police station for further questioning. They also began gathering information about Louise from her neighbors. Based on information provided by Miranda, the victim's family, and local residents, the police determined the following. Louise Dickey was born in Wichita, Kansas, to James and Vivian Bruner on August 1, 1952. Louise was passionate about music, having sung in the choir during her time at Southeast High School in Kansas City, and for a period with the Sweet Adelines group. Her favorite artist was Bonnie Raitt, whom she had the opportunity to meet in 2012. She worked for many years at Continental Grain and later at Russell Stover. Louise had a deep love for cats, as well as her grandchildren's birds. She lived alone and mostly stayed indoors, rarely venturing outside. Some neighbors reported not even knowing anyone lived in the house. They were devastated to learn about Louise's murder and couldn't believe it could happen in such a quiet and safe neighborhood. Miranda confirmed that the last time she spoke to her mother was at 5:30 p.m. the previous day, on March 28th. They had exchanged messages on Facebook. Louise had messaged her, saying she couldn't find her phone and asked Miranda to call her number. Miranda called and Louise answered shortly after, confirming that she had found the phone. They expressed affection for each other through their words. Miranda explained that it wasn't uncommon for Louise to misplace her phone. During their conversation the previous day, Louise didn't show any signs of worry or anxiety about anything. Miranda also confirmed that Louise wasn't dating anyone. Having gathered this initial information, the police determined that the incident was likely a murder-robbery. But who was the perpetrator? How could they have entered Louise's home unnoticed? This suggested that the perpetrator was someone she knew well and likely lived in the neighborhood. The police immediately requested Miranda's assistance with identifying the missing bank cards and the phone's location. They also issued a warrant for Louise's missing vehicle. The information provided described the car as a golden 1998 Buick Park Avenue. Following the issuance of the warrant, a patrol officer received the information and began searching for Louise's car. Shortly after, he located the vehicle parked in the parking lot of a convenience store on Truman Road. The store owner confirmed that the car had been parked there since the night before, on March 28th. The investigators immediately accessed the store's internal and external surveillance system. After careful review, they noticed that the vehicle had been driven into the parking spot, and a young man wearing dark pants, dark shoes, and a thin jacket emerged from the car and headed towards the convenience store. The police also identified a different angle from another security camera outside the convenience store. As the car passed a gas station, only the young man was visible. No one else was in the vehicle. This was confirmed after a thorough review of the footage. Meanwhile, the video captured by the camera inside the convenience store clearly showed the suspect's appearance. He was a Caucasian man with very short hair. His clothing appeared clean, with no signs of bloodstains. In the surveillance footage, the suspect is seen shaking hands with another man in the store, possibly an acquaintance. He then took out his phone and called someone, while the man he shook hands with walked out of the store. While on the phone, he moved further into the store. As the convenience store had an ATM, he went over to use it. The camera angle from the ATM captured him attempting to use a bank card, but he was unsuccessful. He then quickly left the convenience store, pushing open the door, and then went back inside again, engaging in conversation with an employee who was cleaning the store. The employee appeared to be holding a broom and a bucket of water. The suspect asked something, but the employee didn't seem to reply. He then patted the employee on the shoulder and quickly left the store again. He then departed from the parking lot, but surprisingly, he didn't drive away. Instead, he walked towards a black car, got in, and left. However, unfortunately, the camera angle couldn't capture the driver's identifying features and the license plate was blurry. The police shifted their attention to the camera across the street from the gas station outside the convenience store. After reviewing the footage, they observed that the driver was shorter than the young man. Based on this, they assumed the driver might be a woman. From this angle, they were also able to identify that the car was missing the front left tire cap. When the vehicle turned onto the road, the camera clearly showed that the front right tire cap was also missing. Based on these details, the police established a preliminary understanding of the situation and immediately issued a new warrant to trace the vehicle and the driver's whereabouts. While one group of officers investigated the suspect's activities using security footage from around the convenience store, another group went to the bank to examine the transaction history of Louise Dickey's bank card. After some assistance from the bank staff, the police learned that at approximately 5:11 p.m. on March 28th, her bank card was used at a Walgreens store. Armed with this new information, the police quickly went to the Walgreens store and requested access to their surveillance footage. The footage revealed that at 5:05 p.m., a car entered the parking lot, and two individuals disembarked and went inside the store. The vehicle's rear view matched the vehicle Louise had driven to the convenience store. The video footage inside the Walgreens store revealed Louise's presence. She was following a Caucasian man with short hair. He was wearing a dark jacket and pants and a red shirt underneath. Louise was carrying a light green basket. They purchased a few items, and the video showed the man helping Louise carry some of the items as they left the store. He was also carrying a cup, likely containing coffee. Who was this mysterious man? What was his connection to Louise? And where was he now? The police immediately showed this video to Miranda, who had been brought to the police station for verification. They hoped to identify the man based on these clues, as he was now a prime suspect in Louise's murder. However, despite a thorough review of the video, Miranda was unable to identify him. The police immediately returned to the bank to request a complete transaction history for Louise's bank card, covering the period before and after the murder. Upon a careful review, the police discovered that at approximately 2 a.m. on March 29th, Louise's bank card was used at a Quick Trip store in Kansas City, Missouri. The transaction history indicated an attempt to withdraw $300, which was unsuccessful. The card user then likely realized there were insufficient funds and tried to withdraw $100. The police promptly went to the Quick Trip store and accessed the surveillance footage. The camera footage confirmed that the man with blonde hair and fair skin attempting to withdraw money from the Quick Trip store ATM using Louise's bank card at 2 a.m. was the same individual who was seen at the convenience store and the Walgreens. The police, not stopping there, reviewed all other footage from inside the Quick Trip store, and they were finally able to get a clear shot of the man's face. The police immediately reached out to all neighbors surrounding Louise's house, seeking additional information to confirm the man's identity. A neighbor of Louise, who had initially called Miranda about the missing car, revealed that she knew the man very well. They were related. The man's name was Corey King, a 26-year-old from Kansas City. After a period of time, with the help of the phone tracking services, the police were able to locate Louise's mobile phone at a casino called Ameristar. The investigators quickly drove to the casino, hoping to locate Corey. However, upon arrival, they couldn't find him, suggesting he was no longer present. The police requested assistance from all casino personnel to provide data from the surveillance cameras. Everyone at the casino was understandably alarmed when the police arrived, but when they were told they were looking for Corey, they calmed down. According to the footage captured by the casino's surveillance cameras, Corey was indeed at the casino at 3:20 a.m. on March 29th. The footage showed him talking to someone before going to the ATM with a woman. There, Corey once again tried to withdraw money using Louise's bank card, but he was unsuccessful. Then, around 4 a.m., he left the casino with the woman, driving off in a Ford Focus. Based on the footage from this camera, the police concluded that the woman who followed him was the same driver from the previous video footage at the convenience store. With these crucial clues, the police immediately dispersed information to all law enforcement agencies in the area to monitor and apprehend Corey, fearing he might flee the state. Assuming Corey was a highly dangerous criminal, posing a significant threat to others, all officers in the region worked diligently, prioritizing surveillance and planning his capture. Shortly after, the signal from Louise's phone and information from the detectives tracking the Ford Focus confirmed that Corey and the woman were at a motel in Kansas City, Missouri. Seizing the opportunity, the police rushed to the reported motel and successfully apprehended both Corey and the woman, taking them to the police station for questioning. During interrogation, Corey denied any involvement in Louise's murder. He claimed he had no connection to the incident, stating he had known Louise for a long time, as his aunt was her close friend. He claimed to have often helped Louise with various tasks when she needed assistance. However, when confronted with the evidence of Louise's belongings in his possession and the videos the investigators had collected, he had no explanation for his innocence. Eventually, under relentless questioning and pressure from the police, Corey could no longer stubbornly deny his guilt and was forced to confess. Corey King, born on March 27, 1990, revealed that on March 28th, he helped Louise go grocery shopping. When they arrived back at her house, Corey asked if he could sleep on her couch as he wasn't able to leave due to the effects of Xanax and marijuana. Louise refused. While under the influence of drugs, he had a heated argument with Louise. In a fit of rage and intoxication, he found a box cutter in Louise's house. He grabbed her hair from behind and slashed her throat with the knife. The pain caused Louise to instinctively grab her throat to stem the bleeding. Corey then slashed her throat a second time. He didn't stop there. He dragged Louise to the bathroom, placed her in the bathtub, and continued stabbing her repeatedly with another knife. After killing Louise, he stole cash, a debit card, her phone, and prescription medication from her purse and drove away in her car. He attempted to withdraw money from her bank card, but it was unsuccessful. He called a friend by using Louise's phone, and the woman who was later apprehended with him came to pick him up. With the concrete evidence and Corey King's confession, he was formally detained and charged. He was accused of first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Corey was held at the Potosi Correctional Center in Mineral Point, Missouri, with a bail set at $500,000. In 2018, after 2 years of incarceration, Corey went to trial. He was found guilty and sentenced to death with no possibility of parole. The case was closed. After Corey was arrested, Miranda expressed immense gratitude to the investigators for their efforts. She spoke about Louise, saying, "She would never hurt anyone. She was open and generous. She'll be dearly missed by all who knew her. She loved to sing, and she always sang." Dickey's 88-year-old mother, Vivian Bruner, also expressed her grief upon learning of her daughter's passing. "She was so helpful. If I needed something, she would say, 'Well, let's go get it.'" She also expressed gratitude to everyone for their support and love during this painful time. She said that, "I thank all of you. I feel the prayers of the people, the overwhelming support. I feel that the everlasting arms of God are holding me." What are your thoughts on today's case? Share your insights in the comments section below. Let's have a deeper discussion. Thank you for watching this video in its entirety. Before you leave, don't forget to support us by subscribing to Vane True Crime Cases to access more captivating crime stories. Goodbye, and see you in our next videos.